Hello dear students, we will be continuing with chapter 9 today, the Industrial Revolution. Today we are going to talk about the coal and iron industries. We will also discuss about the cotton industries, and if possible we will also learn about the steam power. To start up with, England at that time was fortunate in both coal and iron ore reserves. But until 18th century, there was a scarcity of usable iron. And coal mining was also riddled with many dangers, like various inventions revolutionized the iron and coal industries. And for centuries, iron was drawn from the ore by the process of smelting of the charcoal. But the process suffered from several problems. Chief among them, some of the problems are like charcoal was too fragile to transport across long distances. Then charcoal's impurities produced poor quality iron, and also it was in short supply because forest had to be destroyed for timber, and it could not generate high temperature. So they thought of a solution for this, and the problem was brought up by the Derbys of Shropshire. In 1709, grandfather Abraham Derby invented the blast furnace that used coke instead of charcoal. This enabled generation of high temperatures, and the melted iron from these furnaces permitted finer and larger castings than before. Now, development of wrought iron by second Derby, who is the father, from 1711 to 1768, it was less brittle than the pig iron. And then came Henry Cott from 1740 to 1823, designed the puddling furnace in which molten iron could be rid of impurities, and the rolling mill which used steam power to roll purified iron into bars. Now, these processes revolutionized the iron industry. It became possible to produce wide range of iron products. Iron, because of its durability, was a better material than wood for everyday items and for machinery. For example, 1770s John Wilkinson designed the first iron chair, vast of breweries, the distilleries, and used cast iron for water pipes. So in 1779, the third Derby, that is the son, built the first iron bridge today, which is a heritage site of the world, spanning from the river Severn in Coalbrookdale. So the British Sir Humphrey Davy, he invented the safety lamp which miners could take with them for light, without danger of coal gas catching fire. So these all the revolutionary things took place that time in Europe. Now, if we talk about the cotton industries, a series of technological innovations in the 18th century revolutionized the cotton industry. What were they? Some, if you can refer to the book, you can easily see. Number one, the spinning jenny, which was invented by Hargreaves in the year 1765, enabled a single person to spin several threads of yarn simultaneously. And this closed the gap between the speed in spinning raw cotton into yarn and weaving the yarn into fabric. Now, then came John Kay's flying shuttle, which made possible to weave broader fabrics in lesser time. Then there was Richard Arkwright's in the year 1769. Water frame improved on Hargreaves' jenny, and it made possible to produce a much stronger thread, weave pure cotton fabrics, and it was run by water power. Then came in the year 1779, Samuel Crompton invented the machine mule. You must have heard about a company named Crompton. So that came from his name. This allowed spinning of strong and fine yarn, and it combined the advantages of both Hargreaves and Arkwright's inventions. Then later came in the year 1787, Cartwright, who invented the power loom, which runs on steam power. It was easy to work and it stopped automatically every time a thread broke, and it could be used to weave any kind of cloth. So the cycle of inventions sought to maintain a balance between spinning and weaving. However, the task of removing seeds from cotton balls had to be still done by hands. These could not be done using any machines. And this problem was solved later on after an American inventor, Eli Whitney, invented the cotton gin. In the year much later, it was in 1793, the machine could separate seeds 300 times faster than by hands. Then from 1830s development in the cotton industry, it concentrated on increasing the productivity of workers rather than bringing new machines into use. And that feature to feed the industry raw cotton had to be entirely imported, and large part of the finished cotton was exported. And during that time, colonization was a direct result of industrialization. You can also relate it to India. It will be easier for you to understand that, whereby when Britain acquired control over the raw materials as well as the market for Britain's goods, that time how that colonization has affected industrialization even in India. You might can recall that, like how the cotton industries established itself in India. So the industry was heavily dependent on the work of women and children in factories, and this exemplified the ugly phase of early industrialization. So later on, when these all kept on happening, then came the steam power. Now, if you talk about the steam power, we can... before to James Watt in the year 1769 developed a steam engine as prime mover. He was which was capable of providing energy to power machines. Steam engines developed by Thomas Savery and Thomas Newcomen were mere pumps used in coal mine to either drain excess water or for deeper mining. So what type of industries we have seen prior to use of steam power? Industries which used hydraulic power had to be limited to certain areas, which were, because hydraulic means water related, so it has to be near some river. So seasons and by speed of water also, because all the rivers are not very forceful. Moreover, many rivers are seasonal rivers, so it all are dependent. With the use of steam power, now what happened? They could be located wherever so desired, because now you are not dependent on the weather or nature. And steam power provided pressure at high temperature that enabled use of broad range of machinery. So moreover, steam was also reliable and inexpensive enough to manufacture machinery itself. And what about the transportation? Steam power revolutionized transport as steam engines led to development of railways. And railways, unlike canals, whose use was limited by floods, frost or drought and congestion, were a convenient alternative both as means of transport and as means of carrying goods and raw materials also from one place to another. Moreover, they were available throughout the year and were cheap and fast. So you know that till date it is said that railways are the cheapest and fastest, and moreover, huge amount of goods can be carried at a time from one place to another. Now, to talk about George Stephenson, who constructed a locomotive called the Blucher that could pull a weight of 30 tons up a hill at 4 mile per hour. The first railway line connected the cities of Stockton and Darlington in the year 1825. The next connected Liverpool and Manchester in 1830, and by 1850 most of the England was connected, and the speeds of 30 40 to 50 miles per hour was usual. So industrialization brought a huge change in the entire socio-economic condition of Europe. I will be continuing the class next day. We will be talking about the women and children during that period, and we will continue with the chapter. Thank you so much, and take good care of yourself.